We've reached a point, I think, in society where we can no longer depend on the intrinsic motivations of people to move society forward. Where intrinsic motivation has gotten us is the world today. Burning fossil fuels, unable to stop, fishing the oceans to extinction, people being overweight, the government at a standstill. This is because we don't have a good understanding in systems design of what motivates and drives people. Gamification is the use of game thinking and game mechanics to engage people and solve problems. And it starts and ends with an understanding of user motivation. That's what game designers do better than anybody else in the whole entire world. They design systems around user motivation that's intended to get somebody from where they are today at point A to where they wish they could be, point B, in a series of discrete steps that they can follow and feel good about as they get there. And so it has tremendous applicability to every aspect of our lives. A good example of gamification that many people have been exposed to is Weight Watchers, and it's really an interesting example. Weight Watchers uses many of the techniques of social games, points, badges, levels, challenges, rewards, to get users from point A, where they are today with their weight, to point B, which is where they would like to be, that is typically slimmer. What's really interesting about Weight Watchers is that they understand very clearly people's personal journeys, their desire to get to mastery of a particular area of their lives. And by designing a system that people can follow, they create a really unique association when the user's been successful. And I'll give you an example. If you run into somebody on the street and you say, "Oh my God, you look fantastic, how'd you do it?" They say, "Weight Watchers." They don't say, "I ate right and exercised," which is what they actually did. But their conclusion, their worldview, is that they're aligned with the system they followed instead of the actions they took. And that's an opportunity for every brand and frankly for every cause to take the systems and the processes that people want to follow in order to make change in their lives that's for the better, turn that into a process that they can actually follow, reward them along the way. And when they get there, they will be forever aligned with the brand, service, product, or idea that got them there. There are a number of really exciting startups today that are focused on, using some game techniques in order to create behavior change for sustainability. Examples of that include a site like Earned It, which is a small startup that gives you rewards, badges, challenges, leaderboards to get you to do things that are, in your best interest. So you sort of create challenges for yourself and say, to this weekend I want to volunteer and I want to clean up a park. And so you set that challenge for yourself, you enlist other people to support you, you go out and you do it, and when you do it, the application rewards you. It's a sort of exciting, it's an exciting system for following. The other examples of gamification being used for, kind of positive societal change can be found in more subtle ways in some of the more popular applications that people are accustomed to, like Causes or Kiva or Kickstarter or these, sites for crowdsourcing funding, which has been probably the first, the sort of thin edge of the wedge as it relates to gamification and important causes. It's using the power of community and community reinforcement to get people to fund important behaviors. Another good example of sustainable design used in a gamification context are the in-dash eco-driving games that have become de rigueur among hybrid car manufacturers. Ford, Nissan, Chevy, Toyota have all released games that you basically play in the dash of your car when you drive a hybrid vehicle with the intention of getting you to drive in the most ecological fashion possible. In most cases, those dashboard games have changed behavior. Now, we don't actually have data on how effective they are because the car manufacturers haven't yet told us how effective those games have been, but we've seen anecdotal evidence and some interesting kind of news reports on the fact that it really is changing how people drive, sometimes for the worse, but in general, it's changing how people drive. And most importantly, it's basically become impossible to release a compact or standard-sized car that's a hybrid without an in-dash eco-driving game, which is probably the most important change that's occurred. Remember that each one of these games costs the car manufacturer hundreds of millions of dollars, not only to design, but to tool up for. And the way that car systems are designed, you can't just change them anytime you want to. So these are very substantial investments in a core idea, which is that by providing gamified feedback to a user as they engage with something like a vehicle, you can subtly shape their behavior. You can set goals, you can set objectives. In the case of the Nissan Leaf, it's actually Facebook connected social driving game with your friends. So it's opportunities to socialize just the idea of conservation and driving more ecologically and using that as a system progression and mastery. one of the core limitations of gamification that often comes up is it's not a panacea for fixing things that fundamentally aren't engaging or workable with users. When you have an idea or a concept or a product that doesn't resonate with its market, gamification isn't going to magically bridge the gap between your sort of crappy product and the market that doesn't care for it and some kind of user engagement. What it's really powerful at doing is it's really powerful at surfacing what it is that users actually want and connecting the product to that intrinsic user desire and making that into something that actually works. So it's taking your desire to be a more efficient driver, or your desire to lower your carbon footprint, as the Sacramento Utility District has done with an experiment with homes in Sacramento, competing against each other to reduce their energy usage, simply by providing feedback and using smart meter technology. These are examples of tapping into people's intrinsic desire to be more successful and to achieve something that, connected with sustainability, can help improve outcomes. Another good example of sustainability and gamification can be found in a company called Recycle Bank, which provides a series of rewards, gamified rewards, for people to recycle. It's something that if you live in San Francisco or Toronto or Portland or New York City, you're accustomed to recycling being a normal part of your life. But in most parts of the United States, recycling rates are not actually very high. And Recycle Bank has had tremendous success going in and providing gamified rewards for recycling to get people to recycle and provide them with incentives and positive reinforcement to recycle. So there are examples all around us of gamification being used successfully to impact the environment. They may not be solutions that are like, silver bullet and suddenly our carbon footprints drop by 90% because we've all decided to adopt gamification, but there are ways to get 5, 10, 15, 20% behavior change, and that extrapolated across a whole population is substantial. The future is pretty exciting from where I sit. It looks like a world filled with rewards and excitement and enthusiasm. There are critics of gamification who believe that we're just applying a sort of banal or boring type of game system on top of the world that doesn't really, engage or connect with users. And my response to that criticism is always, couldn't the world be just a little bit more fun? Couldn't we all find something in every interaction that we have with products, with services, with the government, with the education system, that would be more engaging, that could get us to really pay attention to what it is that we're doing, become mindful of the actions that we're taking, and work towards some kind of intrinsic behavior change that we would like to accomplish in the world? So I think that we're moving into an era of tremendous reward and incentive. From where I sit, companies, even the government, understand the power of gamification, are incorporating these sorts of levels, badges, challenges, point systems, rewards into every aspect of their business. So we're looking forward to an incredibly fun future in which every type of interaction has some game elements in it, and we're rewarded and positively engaged around all the behaviors that are best for us.